Yo, what is going on, everyone? Thank you for checking out the channel today. Today we are going to be going over a relatively underutilized archetype in the current meta. However, it has been seeing some recent success, gaining some day 2 finishes. The deck in question is going to be Arceus VSTAR paired with Armarouge, both the one prize Armarouge and the Armarouge EX, as well as a multitude of fire attackers. This is sort of an arc box variant that has some really neat tricks to it, and I'm actually really excited to go over this deck because I do think it has a lot of potential. Now, real quick, before we do go into the full-on deck breakdown, much like yesterday, I do want to go ahead and shout out the, not necessarily the creator, but at least the person whose list I have taken. The list that we're going to be going over today was piloted by Jake Riggs, and it got them a 24th place finish at the Orlando Regionals. Now, diving into the full deck list, we do have a relatively standard Arc V-Star line of 4 V and 3 V-Star. You really need to try and see the V as soon as possible. Ideally, you need to find it turn 1. And then the V-Star, you don't really need to see... like, you have much more ways to find the V-Star than you do the V. And you really only need to find one, where the V, you kind of need to see 2 on turn 1 depending on the matchup. And then, you know, we all know what Arceus V-Star does. Trinity Nova for 3 energies, 200 damage, accelerate 3 basic energies to any V Pokemon you have in play. And then it has that insane Star Birth ability, which lets you search your deck for any 2 cards. So it is a huge consistency card with that V-Star power. And we're actually going to be taking advantage of the acceleration and pairing it with the Armarouge with Fire Off, which is as often as you like. During your turn, you can move a fire energy from one of your bench Pokemon to your active. So we will essentially use the Arc to either throw more fire energies onto himself or to a benched Arc V, V-Star, maybe even the Delphox if we do have it in play. And then we're essentially just going to keep moving those fire energies around to power up different attackers. One attacker that we could power up is Armarouge EX. This is by far one of the best Pokemon to take advantage of all the fire energy we're going to be putting into play, because its Scorching Bazooka does 40 damage and then 40 more for each fire energy we have attached to the Armarouge. So if we have, you know, turn 1 attachment plus the 3 from Trinity Nova plus, you know, another turn attachment plus maybe some basins in there, we can really get up to some high numbers really quickly. And then, you know, with that Crimson Armor ability, which says if it has full HP, it actually takes 80 less damage from attacks, which means that you have to do minimum 90 damage to do any damage to this if it has full HP. It means you can really use this to soak up a hit. And then one other attacker we could be using is the Gouging Fire EX. This is basically like a big bomb with that Blaze Blitz, 3 energy, 260. It's really efficient. Armarouge EX could get up to those, but then you're liable to losing a lot of your energy in play if the Armarouge does get KO'd. So this is just a way to use a basic Mon to do a lot of damage. And then the other big, like, 2 prize attacker we're going to be using, excuse me, is Delphox V. Delphox V is mainly in here just for that Mystical Fire. It does 120 for 3, and then you put 2 energy attached to this Pokemon to the Lost Zone. And then you also do 120 to a benched Pokemon. This is really good against things like Lost Box and, you know, maybe even Charizard, Chien-Pao, stuff like that, depending on if they don't have Manaphy in play and if you can get like a gusting effect. And the Delphox can really, you know, cripple early boards, and you can even use it in the late game to like take 3 or 4 prizes depending on what you've had to hit into and how much damage you've put on the board. And then our Radiant of choice is actually going to be Radiant Heatran. Normally when you see fire decks, you think Radiant Charizard is like an auto include, but Radiant Heatran actually has some really cool synergy with this kind of build, because Raging Blast does 70 damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. So basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to have the Radiant Heatran on the bench, and we're going to use Magma Basin to accelerate fire energies from the discard onto the Heatran. And then we can move the fire energies from the Heatran up to the active, and we can just keep stacking damage counters on this Heatran. And if you have 2 accelerations of the basin, then Heatran can hit 280, which means that if you do it a 3rd time, then you can hit, you know, insane numbers, 420, which is enough to one-shot like a Charizard. So the Heatran is actually like a way better Radiant Pokemon in this kind of a build than Charizard. And then as far as like support Pokemon go, we do have a 1/1 Bibarel line, just to give us some extra added extra consistency. And then we have 1 Mew EX, both as, actually it serves like 3 purposes. It's a free retreater. It can give us some more late game consistency depending on the way the board's set up. We can use that restart to draw some extra cards if we get Iono'd. And then we can actually power it up to use genome hacking to take down things like Giratina V-Star. And then onto the supporters, we are just playing relatively standard supporters. We're playing 4 Iono, 3 Research, 3 Boss. You could make the argument for a 4th Research, but with the double turbos and the switches and stuff like that, there could be times where your hand is just clogged with cards you don't want to discard. So having 4 Iono makes more sense. And then as mentioned before, we are playing Magma Basin. We're playing that at a 4 count, just because we want to try and keep as many energies in rotation as possible. And then for tools, we have 1 choice belt that let us hit some more damage on V Pokemon. And then we have the 1 maximum belt as the A spec, so we can hit more damage on EXs. And then as far as consistency cards go, we have 4 Ultra Ball, 4 Nest Ball, and 2 Capturing Aroma. We just, you know, really want to be consistently finding Pokemon from turn to turn. And that's why something like Capturing Aroma is better than like Great Ball, because even though we do have a, you know, critical mass of Pokemon, the odds that we whiff can be kind of high. So it's better just to play something like Capturing Aroma that always guarantees you a Pokemon. And then we do have 2 switches. It really helps us get off that turn 2 Trinity Nova, and it can help us get things out of the active that might get stuck. And then as far as energies go, we do have 4 double turbo because we are an arc deck, and we have 9 basic fires. So yeah guys, that's the list that we're going to be running with today. If you do enjoy this kind of content, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and go ahead and leave me a comment down below who your favorite fire Pokemon is. I'm a big fan of Typhlosion. I've always really felt like Typhlosion, you know, kind of get the short end of the stick, much like most of the Johto starters. And, you know, it was really nice to see him get some love with the Hisuian variant that he got in Legends Arceus. So yeah, guys, that's my favorite fire Pokemon. Go ahead and remember to tell me your favorite down below, and then I will see you in the gameplay. Alrighty, guys, it does look like we found our opponent for the day. We are going to be running it with that Armarouge Arceus deck that we just went over in the deck profile. We're going to call heads like always. We do win the coin flip. That is huge. Yes, we will go first. We are an arc deck. We always want to go first. And let's hope we get a good starting hand. And we have a good start. Our turn 2 is going to be heavily reliant on what we draw. Double turbo, metal, league headquarters, heroes cape. I have no idea what we're playing against, but there's metal energy, so I want to say we're favored. What would be playing double turbo, league headquarters, and heroes cape? It could be a variant of Dialga, Metang, Goodra. It is Arc Goodra. Okay. We top decked the V-Star, by the way, which is insane. So, judging by the Hero's Cape and... Oh, wow. They hit double switch with Airy. That's brutal. Yeah, judging by the league headquarters, I'm going to assume that this is probably Israel Sosa's list that he used to get day 2 at Orlando Regionals, which this will probably be the deck that I cover tomorrow, so that's really funny. I was super excited to see Israel, you know, back at a Regionals. He's a, you know, a player from my side of the country, and you know, he was on his hot streak right when I first started playing competitive. So he's a household name for me, and it was really nice to see him, you know, come back and do it all over again. Let's go ahead and use this capturing aroma. Flip tails, that's fine. We're gonna go grab probably Bidoof. Is the Bibarel in the deck? It is. We prized an Arc V. Prized an Arc VSTAR. We have all the Armarouges. 3 and 6. 7, 8. So we prized one of each energy. We have all the search. Prized the boss. So fire, DTE, boss. Okay, so that should be 5 of our prizes. We are going to Starbirth. I was gonna go grab a research, but I'm actually probably just gonna grab like maximum belt and take the knockout on the Gudra. And then I'll just put the Delphox in play. I am so not here. I constantly forget that maximum belt is only EXs. That's not good. Although we technically can just win with Delphox this turn, which is really funny. Opponent switches their active. Okay, so he's gonna get to draw 5 cards. But he did already commit the energy attachment. So I mean, I legit might just retreat the double turbo and use the Delphox to take 3 prizes. Although my prizes aren't really that good. Okay, so they have a switch. Oh wow, actually has to use Moisture Star. I mean, that's fair, because the Gudra is only 1 energy away from never punished. Wow. I'm not gonna attach that in case I draw a Basin. We're gonna Basin. I think I'm gonna get rid of the Arc V. And I want to get the Bibarel. I guess if I get the Bibarel, I don't need the Mew. Yeah, we're gonna go grab the Bibarel. I could have gotten rid of the Basin if I wanted to, but it actually might have been safe to get rid of Basin. Gouging Fire. I could put the other Arc V down just to keep... I mean, putting the extra energies on the V-Star here doesn't seem like a bad play. Just because, like, they have no way of one-shotting this. So that's what I'm going to do. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we don't have 1 in here. So yeah, we do have a fire prized. I know we have the 1/1 V-Star. We have the double turbo and we have the boss. I'm trying to think. Okay, Vulpix is kind of a problem. Not really. It's a problem in conjunction with them having a boss, because like they could Vulpix hit Heatran, because I mean we do actually have Gouging Fire, so never mind. Gouging Fire is a way around the Vulpix. So it might just be bench gouging fire and research. Okay, we got an Armarouge. So I could take 3 prizes if I want. Which may not be the worst thing in the world. I think I am gonna do that. So I'm gonna get rid of the double turbo and a fire. I know I could just get rid of the double turbo. But I want to get rid of a fire here so I can use Basin on the Heatran. Because I want to get this ready. I'm going to put the double turbo here as just a way to retreat. And then I am going to Magical Fire. And I'm going to take the 3 prizes. Taking this 1 prize feels kind of irrelevant. I think it might be better to put the 120 on the Goodra. I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to put the 120 on the Goodra. Killing their consistency could be good right now, considering that they're kind of dead drawing, but they don't have access to like Arc V-Star. And I like the idea, because now I can just like attach and KO this. Hand Trimmer. Yeah, I'll just get rid of these 2. And Judge, okay. So this has 150 left. After the Rolling Iron, I'll have to hit it for 230, and this is hitting for 280. Okay, so they did get rid of a Basin. I do have the double turbo to attack with this if I need to. I think we're gonna be okay, because I can just attach the double turbo to the Heatran. We'll be hitting for 280, 260. It'll be 180, it'll be 300, yeah, so that's still enough to KO the Goodra. And they found the Hero Escape, but they put it on the Vulpix. Just smart, I guess. Now I'm kind of incentivized to KO this with the Gouging Fire. So I have to hit for 150, which means I have to hit for 230. I'm gonna attach this here, and I'm gonna bib. That Judge was not kind to us. We just drew a handful of Pokemon. I don't want to take that. I'm gonna retreat, take the double turbo. So this is gonna need 4 energies. That's fine. I'll take 1 here. So it's gonna be 1. I'll probably just take all of them. No, I'm gonna take 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna take all of them off of the Heatran because I don't think they can KO the Arceus, and I want the energies to stay in play. Iono was the last one. Am I able to see what? So it was Arc, and so it was the V-Star and the Double Turbo. So our last two prizes are the Fire and the Boss. So our opponent needs to find like V-Star plus Boss and KO the Heatran. Otherwise, all I need to find is a Basin and I win. Snow Mirage, okay. So yeah, all we need to do is find a Basin. And we have the game. I am gonna Nest Ball the Charcadet. And then I'm gonna Iono. We do still have, what, 2 Basin left in the deck? And we hit one. And there we go, guys. We got the dub. That really shows you the power of Radiant Heatran. I'm actually really happy that we got to show that because, you know, as I mentioned in the deck profile, the Radiant Heatran has such great synergy with this deck. So we really got to see the power of it just kind of sitting on the bench there, building up that damage. And right there, you know, we were about to hit for 420 damage, which is exactly what we needed to do to KO that Vulpix because we couldn't hit it with anything with an ability. And it had a cape on it, so that meant the Gouging Fire was not able to KO it, which is why we had to flip our attack order and KO the Guja with the Gouging Fire. But yeah, guys, I hope you really enjoyed that game. I had a ton of fun playing it, and remember that if you did enjoy that game, to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and then go ahead and leave me that comment down below, and then I will see you in tomorrow's video.